Hey, this is Matthew and welcome back to Nerd News Today, and it's time for another action figure review. And today we've got another entry in McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse line. This time it's another Wonder Woman figure, but I think this is the one that's been probably the most anticipated since the movie was first announced and since all these toys were first revealed at Toy Fair, and that's the Golden Armor Wonder Woman figure. So this is not a variant of Wonder Woman, this is just a completely separate individual figure. They've both been pretty popular as far as I can tell. But yeah, this one here has gotten her own special release because it has, as you can see, a ton of different tooling, completely different paint job. It really is its own figure, and that's why it's not just some kind of random variant, it's just its own entry in the series. So we're gonna have a lot of fun talking about her once she's out of the box, but for now, let's just start and talk about this packaging, which again, just like we saw last time, very simple box, huge window that really makes it clear that this is all about the toy. There's not really anything fancy about the box at all. They just really want to make sure you can see the character and see all of that detail and sculpting that goes into it. Top of the box has a window there, so you can look down into it. And there's again a continuation of that window on the side. The opposite side of it just tells you who this is, which is also kind of cool because we have the other Wonder Woman figure here. So if you're a mint on card collector, you can basically kind of stack them together like they're library books almost. And if you want to look at one, just pull one out. You know exactly who it is. So that part's kind of interesting. You'll notice on the top there as well, it also says this figure, there we go, has 22 points of articulation. And they're making that very clear and very noticeable because they want folks to know that McFarlane Toys now are super duper articulated, unlike the ones you might remember from the 90s. And the back of the box, again, very, very, very plain. Just black background there and a big, big image of Wonder Woman in her golden armor there. It's kind of a faded image though, and so it makes me kind of wonder how much we're gonna even see that armor in the movie, because it's not like the brightest picture. And we've seen images of her in the poster that are way more colorful and way more saturated and brighter, whereas this one is so faded and dark. In my head, I'm just like, why couldn't they have upped it a little bit, at least just for the toy? But this is what they chose, this is what we get. And I guess to be fair, it also doesn't really have much context to it, so maybe that's why they chose this one, because it's just kind of, you know, a plain gray background. We can really sit here all day analyzing this one image, try and see if we can figure out any information from the movie. We're not going to do that. But I'm going to talk about down here the look at who else is part of this line, which is the Wonder Woman figure that we've already looked at, Arkham Asylum or Arkham City Batman Joker, animated series Batman, and a Harley Quinn figure, which I think is based, I think that's the one that's based on her comic appearance maybe? Not entirely sure, because I don't really remember that one in particular. I know she's had one figure from them already. And again, just like I complained last time about the fonts down here, these fonts are just stupid small. McFarlane, you gotta fix that up. And I know that these characters are fairly recognizable, but still, it's like, what they've basically done here is they've copied the cards that they include with the figures and pasted their images down at the bottom. But it's like, what's the point of that? You can't really read who they are, you can't read information about them, because again, I can't tell you which game they're from without getting basically my nose up in that box. You know, a little bit of a misstep in the packaging there, but I'm not here to look at the packaging for much longer because I'm a loose collector and I want to show you guys what Wonder Woman in her golden armor looks like out of the box. So let's go ahead and get to it. So you notice there's nothing here in the stand. That's because I wanted to show you guys how she is actually packaged in here, because it's actually kind of cool. So as I pull this out, you'll notice that her wings that was way more difficult than I wanted it to be, are actually attached to this part of the packaging here. So they're kept separate, and yeah, it's both taped and glued on. That's why it's also really unbalanced, because it's super top heavy there. But yeah, if we remove this, you'll be able to also see that underneath it, it's got the Wonder Woman trading card, as well as a base. She's got a clear base. Now last time we looked at the bases, Wonder Woman had this black one here, but this time around she has a clear base with this little flying stand here. So that tells us that this armor can in fact fly. So let's go ahead and take all that junk out and take a look at the figure all together. And we're back, and here is our golden Wonder Woman out of the packaging. And you might notice off the bat, she is standing a little funny. Let me show you guys from the side what's going on here. So I had to put her on her base to get her to stand because she was just not staying in place. She's, as you can see here, leaning back really badly. I mean, there's no camera trick here. This is a pretty flat table. And yeah, you can see there's quite a bit of an angle on this. And what's funny is her feet are pretty much the best position they can be in, but as you can see, as I'm pushing down, they resist. And that's because her feet just never want to get flat. There's not enough space for it to be actually in a flat standing position. So, you know, I couldn't stand her up on her own. I had to put her on this base here. There's really not much I could do about that. So I don't know if any other reviewers that have this problem or anybody else is having this problem out there. But yeah, she's kind of permanently just doing the 10-cent shuffle there and leaning back. So that part off the bat is a little disappointing, but maybe we can remedy that with some of the accessories and what she's supposed to do. All right, let's talk about sculpt, detail, paint, all that good stuff. And luckily there's not really a ton to say about the paint job here, because really it's mostly gold with a little bit of silver and just that one bit of face application for the likeness of Gal Gadot. And I gotta say that the Gal Gadot likeness here is, again, very strong. It's a really good face, but here's where I got a few downsides with it. Here's where I got a few problems with it. You know, again, I think the paint job is really great on it, but the exception here is her cheeks. And I'm gonna bring in the normal Wonder Woman version from the same movie, and you can see what I'm talking about here. So with Wonder Woman on the left, you can see her cheeks have this kind of like nice blush effect to them, whereas the one on the right is a lot more blotchy. It looks like she's breaking out into hives. And it's kind of just in weird spot also, like it's a way brighter in an awkward looking position. I kind of feel like they should have maybe just gotten rid of it entirely. Since it clearly was gonna be a problem to paint that, maybe they were better off not even having that little bit of detail there, because it just doesn't look good, you know? She just looks itchy right now. And on that same note, I think the biggest thing I had a problem with is her face structure. Because you can see here on the Wonder Woman on the left, she has the Gal Gadot facial structure. She's got the pointier chin, and her face is fairly slim. Whereas the one on the right, it's a little bit of a thicker head. And that's because basically how they sculpted it. And you know, I don't mind my Gal Gadot being thick either. I'm into that. But in terms of accuracy, we have lost a little bit of it because of her chin. And to be completely fair too, I mean, it's, you know, I was gonna bring in the card a little bit later on, but since we're doing this right now, you know, here's the trading card again, just to show you what this looks like in the movie. You could see that the little eagle wings around her face are much closer to her face. Whereas here, they stick out a lot more. And so, you know, again, if those eagle wings were closer to her face, that probably would have hidden the fact that her jawline looks a little bit broader than it is in real life. But they didn't do that here, so, you know, in terms of accuracy, if you're trying to get, you know, Hot Toys level of accuracy, you're not gonna have it here with this figure at all. But I still do like the likeness. I still think it does look fairly good. Just a few things that make it not as photorealistic. Come back here, base. As for the hair as well, you know, she got a pretty big haircut since the last time we saw her, because if we go back to looking at the other version of her, her hair is way longer. And again, looking at the trading card of her, you can see that her hair is still supposed to be very long. So they decided to eliminate that this time, but that's, I think, because of the accessories we're getting with it. And I guess we're gonna have to put them in a moment. You can see here she's got 2 holes in the back. That's for her wings. I'll give you guys a quick look at that. I don't want to put them on her just yet. I want to show you guys some of the articulation, but that's where those will go. So yeah, speaking of though, let's talk about her articulation. She is supposed to have 22 points, and I think this time she's gonna have all of them and not be as hindered. Yeah, actually, even despite the fact that she's got the shoulder pads, they're not like super stiff, so she can move around just fine. So yeah, the head moves left and right, up and down. Double jointed shoulders, she can do a lot of things. Double jointed elbow, so she can get really nice poses there. Wrist articulation looks great as well. The torso up here, left and right, but we still don't have a turning waist, so we get just this one point of articulation for the upper body, and that's it. I'll take her off the base for a minute. Legs, yes, super duper split from Gal Gadot. Again, we don't have any thigh articulation though. We just basically have the ability to do this up and down, no thigh cut, but we do have a double jointed knee right there. And we also have some ankle articulation, which is very much hindered because of her armor. Because of this shin pad here, it just does not want to move, as we saw as I tried to get her to stand up before. And we also have that bit of toe articulation, so that's fun. But yeah, again, I can't really get her to stand easily. She's just permanently in this weird position because of how her armor is. It just goes right down. So I'm going to show you guys the base, and I guess we're going to put this together. So she comes with a translucent base this time, as well as this piece here. So let's go ahead and I guess make our Wonder Woman fly today. There we go, that snaps in. So let's get some wings on her now. Just give it a little nice push in there. Don't push too hard. What I'm just doing is pushing and turning to get it in, but it doesn't take much effort to get the wings in there. And oh man, yeah, okay, this looks way better now with the wings. So the cool thing about this base, by the way, you can see it has this little clampy bit to it. So we're gonna go ahead and open up the clamp. That's nice. All right, let's put that around her waist, presumably. It might be easier to actually put her on the clamp first before you actually put the wings on. But let's do that again. So there is Wonder Woman now on her base, flying in the air. Yes, this is the way to pose it. This is the way to have this figure out, because again, she sure as heck is not gonna stand up straight, so you gotta have her up on this. The wings are very nicely articulated. They're easy to put on. Looks like they're also just as easy to come out. The base is holding her up as well. It's a very strong, solid base. I don't think you have to worry about that anytime soon. That wingspan alone is about 6 inches. Pretty deep wingspan right there. So that's really nice. Again, just, you know, I've kind of glossed over it, but there's a lot of great detail and sculpting on the body itself. And yeah, I've been a little obsessed with trying to get her to stand up. But let's talk about the body and some of the sculpting. And you know, I love the chainmail armor look. That's really great. The whole design of the armor itself is really great, and they completely captured it in toy form here. It looks very good. Other than the face, you know, everything else about this is a very uniform paint job because it just is basically gold. So you're not really worrying a ton about that. It all matches up very nicely. Very, very super clean because it's so simple. Just, you know, but again, excellent sculpting, excellent attention to detail. It's a gorgeous figure, you know, despite the fact that the face is not quite as good looking as we hoped it would have been, at least in my opinion. It still is a very good looking face. It's just not as faithful to the actress who played her, but it still looks pretty darn good. Now let's also show you guys one more time the trading card that she comes with. It's double the size of like a normal trading card. And on the back, it has a little bit more information about her, but not a ton. All this tells us this time around is in her golden armor, Wonder Woman is the ultimate embodiment of power, grace, wisdom, and wonder, an Amazon warrior whose strength defies challenge and whose courage shines. So again, they kept things pretty vague because the movie has not come out yet. It was probably planned to be vague from the start. So we're not getting a ton of information about Wonder Woman in the new movie. Really, you know, this armor is still pretty mysterious and what its purpose is. But as far as a good looking figure goes, I mean, you can't beat this one. And you know, if I was gonna say which one to get, you know, let's bring the other Wonder Woman back on camera as well now. I don't really know who I would tell you to actually get, you know, if it was one or the other, because I think they're both very good. I think they both serve a different purpose as well. You know, initially I was looking for the golden armor one only, but then I saw the normal version and I thought she just looked equally gorgeous. So I had to get both just to give them a shot. And I'm not disappointed by either. I feel like looking at them side by side though, I actually now kind of think that the golden armor Wonder Woman actually has a better likeness in terms of the face head on, but structurally speaking, the one here on the left tends to look better. So that's kind of interesting. But I do like both. They did capture her look. Both armors are great. Both paint jobs, as you can see side by side, are really gorgeous. So if you had to get one, I'd say don't get just one, get both. They do look that good. They're worth it. And this is coming from a guy who is not typically a DC collector, but as a lover of good sculpting, good likenesses, good paint job, just good figures, this is a great pair to have. And it's probably a good entry and gateway into buying more McFarlane Toys. I don't see a problem with that. I think we're going to be doing that a little bit more often here now on this channel. But yeah, there you guys have it. That's our look at Golden Armor Wonder Woman. She's really great. Do I wish she had other accessories? Nah, she's got a flying base and giant wings. What else does she need? I want to call this a marvelous figure, but I think some DC fanboys might try and beat me up if I said that. So I'm just going to say this is a wonderful figure of Gal Gadot based on the Wonder Woman 1984 appearance, a movie that will hopefully come out sometime in 2021. So until then, if you gotta wait, this isn't a bad way to keep your mojo and your hype going for the film. So check it out. That's the McFarlane Toys Wonder Women, in fact, right here, because we got both of them together. So yeah, there you guys go. If you guys are interested in getting these for yourself, check out our Amazon affiliate links in the description below, and you can order directly from them, which helps us out a little bit and costs you guys nothing extra to support our channel. So until next time, I'm Matthew from Nerd News Today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys here again with some more action figure reviews and everything else we do here on this channel.